Hello guys, before we get to the actual video, I'd like to just quickly set it up. This was part of our 24-hour charity live stream for Child's Play. If you would like to donate or find out more about Child's Play, we'll include a link in the description below. We'll also throw in links to our social media accounts so you can follow everyone who is involved with this. With that out of the way, let's go ahead and start the video right now. And so if you're just joining us, we are running this 24-hour live stream for Child's Play. If you'd like to donate, the link is below the stream. You can see the link right there. And we have Connor Eats Pants here. So welcome. He's a former member of Source Gaming and a good friend. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. I'll introduce you real quick. So before starting his successful YouTube career, Shane Gill worked as a freelance video game designer. Having a passion for video games, Shane worked on Normal Boots, helping JonTron with his intro and overall art direction of the group. In 2012, Shane started a popular series that you may have heard of, which is called Did You Know Gaming. In it, bits of trivia are recited by guest YouTubers, usually centered around a particular topic or game. Did You Know Gaming has been widely successful, spawning many parodies, and even has its own Wikipedia page. Today, the channel has nearly 2 million subscribers. Please help me in welcoming Shane Gill.
Thank you. Thanks for having me as well.
Yeah, it's a pleasure.
I didn't know you worked on video games. That's nuts.
Yeah, that was actually my first job.
It's cool.
Back when I was 18.
Oh,
which
yeah.
is a long time ago now.
Can
I hear that.
Can you
Sorry,
mention what games you've worked on?
Oh, sure. You won't know of any of them. Trust me. They were mostly games for small companies. I started out working for Gameloft because one of their recruiters found my DeviantArt account and then gave me a job offer in London. And that was terrible. And I quit after about three months, I think. And then I moved back home and became a freelance artist and designer and worked on a few games. Oh, there's one game you'll probably have heard of. I worked on the port of Cave Story for the Wii for a little bit.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
But yeah, that's about it as far as game development goes. I hope to get back into it at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
So you studied art for quite a long time?
Yeah, it was what I studied at college. I did art and graphic design, and that's what I was trying to get into really for the longest time. But then Did You Know Gaming happened, and I was like, oh, I guess this is my life now.
Yeah. So speaking of that, what was the inspiration behind Did You Know Gaming?
So when Did You Know Gaming first started, it was just a Tumblr blog.
Mm-hmm.
There was no YouTube channel or anything like that. And it would just post little trivia images with like a tidbit and an image to go alongside with. And I got the idea for those because a lot of people were sharing these images and they'd have like facts about science or films or music on them. And I didn't see any at all about video games. So I thought, oh, I know, I'll just try this out, make a little fun blog about video game trivia and see if anything happens. And then I think about 2 weeks later, I wake up one day and all of the images are on the front page of Reddit and the site has 1 million visitors. And I'm just like, wow, what the hell's going on? So that's pretty much how Did You Know Gaming started.
Yeah, and you have a strong association with Normal Boots. How'd that come up? Like, how did you meet JonTron or the other Normal Boots people?
That kind of came through my art because I knew John and Peanut Butter Gamer Austin for a while before Did You Know Gaming was even a thing. Mm-hmm. And that's because they started Normal Boots together. And for a brief time, they had a forum on their website. I think it was only open for about 2 weeks, and then they had to shut it down because it got spammed by porn bots,
Oh.
which is which is like a very unlikely situation, but it happened. And during those 2 weeks, I posted some of my pixel art on the forum,
Mm-hmm.
and John messaged me because the Normal Books website wasn't too pretty back then, and he asked me if I would make them a pixel art banner and maybe an intro for him as well.
Okay.
And yeah, and that's how I basically got in touch with them. And for a while, I just like make them art whenever they wanted to update the website, or if they needed a little bit of art for a sketch or something.
So you're responsible for the logo as well?
Um, the old logo, yeah. The current Normal Boots logo was made by Satchel.
Okay. So do you want to ask the next question?
Yeah, so do you want to go through how an episode of Digital Gaming is made? Like the process from start right to publishing?
So the first thing, usually just picking a game or series to work on, because a lot of people might request it, or it might be coming into relevance. Next week we're doing a Sonic video because Sonic Mania just came out.
Right.
So we start with the subject, and then usually one or two things will happen. Either I personally will want to go through every stage and research and write it because it's something I'm interested in, or I won't have the time and I will ask someone, a freelancer, usually someone who I've worked with before, to research or research and write an episode based on a subject. And then once they've finished that, I will take it, go through it, rewrite parts of it, and then that will be recorded and turned into a video.
So about
How long does it usually take?
Anywhere between a week to a month, I'd say, probably.
Okay.
The longest part is definitely the research writing part.
Yeah.
Every script is kind of like a puzzle. You go out there, find all the little bits of information you can, and then you have to try and fit them together and make it flow and make it interesting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What's the video editing process like?
Well, thankfully, I haven't edited a video for about a year. Most of the digital gaming videos these days are edited by Lewis Illingworth, who has worked with me for about 2 years now, I think, 3 years maybe. But for the past year, he's been doing pretty much all of them. But the video making process is basically you'll go through the script, look at some of the keywords, you'll either grab footage you need from the internet or record some footage. You'll take the audio, lay it out in the timeline, and then set up like a loose position of all the footage.
Rough cut.
Then, yeah, like a rough cut, and then you'll go through and then add specific videos and images along the timeline. So basically, the whole video editing process is to try and better explain what's being said in the script. That's how I describe it.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
And trying to find like a natural flow to the information.
Yeah. That kind of also comes down to the narrator as well, because how they read the script kind of dictates how everything flows, because you can't really do all that much to the voice. You could maybe slow it down a little bit or increase the spacing between the sentences and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But their delivery is kind of what sets everything in stone.
Is there a method to who you choose for what episode, or is that sort of arbitrary?
Sometimes it's arbitrary, but a lot of the time I'll pick someone because I know they're about to do a big video on a game, or they'll be known for a certain series. Like
Right.
whenever we do games that are associated with PlayStation, I'll ask Kedikris to voice it because that's what he's known for. Just as an example.
Right. Right.
Yeah, and recently you also started the second channel, Did You Know Gaming, too.
Oh yeah, that we did. Those videos, we decided not to have guest voices on them just because the process of sending the script to someone and having them record it and then them send it back to me and then editing the audio and asking for retakes can take, if it goes well, it can just take a day. But if something's wrong, it can take weeks, like literally weeks. And it can become a really big setback. So to get around that, we decided to keep it in-house and just have Daz and Greg voice it.
Yeah.
And they've been doing a pretty good job so far, I think.
It's kind of nice to have like a very relaxed kind of gaming facts trivia.
Oh yeah, yeah. That was part of the plan. Just do it more casual. Maybe
Yeah.
leave some of the funnier outtakes in the script. Just so it's a little less intense, a little less rushed out. They can like take the time and have fun with it.
Yeah, I like the format of that second channel. You've got shorter content on there. It comes out faster. It's nice.
Yeah, exactly. I think we decided that it had to be shorter just so we could have more than one video a week because it really is a time-consuming process. Like you guys, I mean, I'd assume you know about this because of the videos you made for Source Gaming, but the amount of hours that go into like a heavily researched, heavily edited content, like people who are viewing the video usually have absolutely no idea that like you can put 100 hours into like a 5-minute video.
Yeah, definitely. Like especially the research heavy articles or videos, like those take so many days to complete.
Especially stuff like the unseen 64 videos that go on the channel as well that Liam makes. Some of those, I think the guy literally spent months on them, like literally months of his life.
Yeah, especially if he has to contact other people and try to get their thoughts and get their permission to air their clips or air their names and stuff like that. It can be a lot of going back and forth.
Definitely. I've done a couple of things like that before. For Assassin's Creed, Fallout, and sorry, not Fallout, Far Cry, and Monster Hunter, and a few others. I actually got to sit down and talk to the people who made the games and interview them, and that was pretty time consuming.
Yeah.
So on his scale that up, it's definitely, he's got to have put like 200-300 hours into every video he puts out.
Liam's crazy. His videos are always great.
Oh yeah, it's totally worth it.
Yeah. We'll be having Liam on a little bit later in the live stream, so if you guys are still awake at that time, please go ahead and check that out.
Nice.
Yeah, Liam is a good friend, and I think he's a good friend to you too, Adam, right?
Oh yeah, he's a great guy.
Yeah.
I actually don't know anyone who has a single bad word to say about Liam. He's great.
Okay, so going back to the Did You Know Gaming questions, what guest are you most proud of having on? Or is there a guest that particularly stands out?
Guess that stands out. It was pretty cool having Xander Mobus voice the Smash Bros. Wii U video a while back. Just because he's the announcer of the game. He kind of it was fun to have him on and work with him, and just kind of felt like it brought some legitimacy to the video, having someone who worked on the game voice it.
Yeah. Yeah, Xander is a great guy. We had him on last year as well.
Oh
He's
yeah, he was.
he does a
Oh,
lot.
sorry, correct.
Yeah, he does a lot
Yeah.
of community outreach, which is great.
Yeah, he's a really nice guy.
Okay. Uh, and then have there any been has there been a particular challenge that you faced, or like something that that was really difficult to work through?
Um, Difficult challenge for Did You Know Gaming.
Mm-hmm.
I think just generally sticking to a schedule and working within YouTube's algorithm is always a challenge, because having if you don't, basically, for the people who don't know, if you don't put out a video every week, YouTube kind of just goes, okay, then bye, and just lets your channel die.
Yeah.
And yeah, how often how much promotion you get in YouTube's recommended algorithm, so like on the homepage and the sidebar, it just starts to drop off very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't make weekly content, you're basically at a disadvantage. Um, so that basically means we have to put like 200 hours of work every week to make sure we have a video every week.
Yeah.
And that's, I'd say, is probably the biggest challenge.
Yeah, and like also the algorithm is constantly changing because I heard recently that now they're preferring more shorter content, like shorter regular content instead of like longer,
Oh,
more
yeah.
informational content.
Uh, it's a real tough situation, because they basically discovered, from what I've heard, that the most profitable videos are personality-based videos that come out daily or multiple times a day. So they changed their algorithm to cater to that,
Mm-hmm.
and that pretty much just screwed over everyone else,
Yeah.
especially animators. Animators got the rawest end of that deal, because it can take them a month to put out like a 2-minute video. So if you're getting 2-minute videos once a month on your channel, it's just gone. It's like they're not gonna promote you at all. And what they did, another thing that they changed was they made it so watch time on a video
Mm-hmm.
was directly linked to the video's CPM, so how much the video earns. So if you have a longer video, it has a higher ad rate, so you earn more per every individual ad that's played against a short video. So if say if the standard amount of earnings for someone is something like $3 per 1,000 views on a 10-minute video, if it was a 1-minute video, it'd be about 50 cents.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Yeah.
purely because of the time difference on the video, the watch time.
Yeah.
So
But on
animators,
that 10-minute video, that requires people to watch through all 10 minutes, right?
it's more to do with how much watch time that one video gets, rather than the overall viewage, like view percentage of the video. So if someone watches 80% of the video, like that's good, but it's more about the overall watch time. So if a 10-minute video only has like an average 1-minute watch time, but it still has 10 million views, the CPM is going to be really high still, just because the watch time is very high.
Okay.
I know it's a little bit strange, but that's how it works.
Yeah, and like you said, it's constantly changing, so it's quite difficult to keep up, I imagine.
Yeah, especially when you've already committed to a format.
Mm-hmm.
You're just basically at the mercy of YouTube.
YouTube seems like a tricky beast.
It is, especially if you're just starting out. It's usually pretty difficult to get your foot in the door.
Yeah. Is there a piece of trivia that was particularly surprising for you?
I think honestly, there's a surprising piece of trivia that I found like every 2 weeks probably,
Hmm.
and then I forget about it because I need to make more room in my brain for more trivia than on the next video.
Yeah.
It's just like a constantly going in, going out kind of thing. But when people ask me this question
Hmm.
or similar questions, I always go back to the same piece of trivia, and it's from Metal Gear Solid 3. And it's a fun piece of trivia about one of the bosses in the game.
Hmm.
He coats his the bolts for his crossbow or whatever it is, I think, with the venom of the Brazilian wandering spider, and he shoots Snake or Big Boss with one of these bolts. And as the venom is taking effect, he explains to Big Boss what uh, the symptoms are. And he's like, "Oh, you're gonna die a slow, painful death, and all this." But one of the symptoms they didn't explain in the game, one of the real world symptoms of the Brazilian wandering spider, is that the males that are hit with it, die with an erection.
Oh,
Yeah, they didn't put that in the game for obvious reasons.
yeah. I would imagine that maybe they have a little bit harder time getting it through.
Yeah,
But
hard time,
yeah.
no pun intended.
Okay. Is there an episode that you'd like to work on but you haven't yet?
Um, yes. I really like redoing because we've started redoing videos that
Hmm.
are like just really old and outdated and bad. Um, and we recently did Game Boy Advance, the system, because we did a bunch of Game Boy videos way back, and I realized that I really enjoy doing the console episodes.
Hmm.
So the next one I'm looking forward to doing is the GameCube, and I'll do that at some point, probably later this year.
Okay.
Just to piggyback onto that, what do you think about like the permanent nature of videos? You mentioned re-recording. That's obviously not
Oh,
viable for all of your videos, right?
uh, well, there's a specific problem with YouTube, and that's that once you've published your video, the only way you can change it is by removing the video and publishing a second video.
Jeez.
Hmm.
Um, so I think Vimeo, on Vimeo's video platform, I think you can replace the video under the same URL without publishing it a second time. So if you make a mistake, you can fix it on Vimeo, but YouTube doesn't have that feature.
Would you like YouTube to add that feature?
Oh, that'd be great, because then I could actually go back and change mistakes and not just want to die and
I know that
just like,
Gerard, sorry, from the Completionist, he said that he's going to replace some of his older videos as well.
oh yeah. Well, we're kind of doing the same thing, like revisiting videos and from years ago. But the kind of thing I'm talking about is like if we put up a video
Hmm.
and then we find out that we've like said a game came out a year before it came out or something like that, just got a release date wrong or something small. Uh, if YouTube had that same feature as Vimeo, we'd be able to just change the text, re-render it, and upload the video, and the mistakes corrected.
Yep.
Which is something that's very easy to do if you have a written article or something like that. You can just edit the article, change the words, and then put like a footnote saying
Mm.
this article's been updated.
Yep.
You can't do that on YouTube, which means everything you do is set in stone for everyone to see,
Hmm.
and it's frustrating.
Yeah, that's
Was
one.
that something they did like for the revenue sort of stuff?
I think they made it so you can't swap out the video on Vimeo, and I think they did that to combat abuse. Because if somebody had a viral video, they could swap it out with like a troll video.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I think
Or
that's the main thing they did.
yeah, they should like allow certain creators to replace videos. Like if you reach a certain
Definitely.
requirement, then
Yeah,
you can kind of get that privilege. 'Cause,
I agree. Like, maybe like someone who's had a certain amount of subscribers or views, or someone's been previously approved, so like
mhm.
a TSA type thing.
Yeah, like Jim Sterling, he gets a little bit more leeway with the copyright because of the amount of copyright abuse he's faced, I believe.
Well, that makes sense.
Like he's on like YouTube's green list for copyright because he's shown that he uses his footage in fair use and everything like that.
Well, good for him. I'm one of the lucky few where the main Did You Know Gaming channel is what's called a managed channel,
Hmm.
which means it's immune from automatic copyright strikes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So we basically get a pass from YouTube's copyright video and audio uh, uh, m- machines.
Hmm. Yeah, that's something that we've had to be careful with Source Gaming's YouTube channel because certain games will automatically trigger that copyright, and so
Yeah.
in some cases we just use still images for discussions and stuff like that instead of doing gameplay because that way there won't be ads on our videos.
Yeah. I've been in the same situation because besides Did You Know Gaming, I also do produce a show called Did You Know Movies,
Hmm.
and on the channel that goes up on, it's not a managed channel, so we do get copyright claims and strikes. So we've had to kind of like work out how to like use footage for a certain length of time, but make it so their video detection algorithm doesn't find the video.
Hmm. Yeah, I've heard.
So we, sorry, what was that?
Oh, I've heard some tricks like mirroring the footage or reversing it and stuff like that.
Oh, that yeah, that used to work. It doesn't work anymore.
Oh, okay.
Um, yeah, they search for it being flipped in all different kind of ways. Although
Hmm.
the thing that works best for us is putting a vignette on the image, or like fading it out at the edges and stuff like that. Just kind of manipulating it slightly rather than having something that a machine could detect.
Okay.
Yeah, so if you want to show more footage on Source Gaming videos, I would suggest putting a vignette on it.
Hmm. Yeah, we'll definitely look into that because we're looking to get better with our video content because we've been hesitant to do video content because of the issues like you mentioned that videos are set in stone, and
Yeah,
so that's kind of putting a lot of research heavy articles and stuff like that onto a video format can be a little bit troubling, I think.
yeah. Well, what you guys could do is publish an article first, and
Hmm.
then maybe like a couple of weeks later turn it into a video, because then in those few weeks you can get feedback from the community, and someone might spot a mistake that you've made.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, we've been looking to turn some of our older articles into videos just because they've been at least fact checked, hopefully by the community.
oh yeah, that's a good thing about having articles first. Just like having so many eyes on one little fact can expose something wrong with it.
Hmm.
It's just like, oh, like even something like an implication of a word, like using
Hmm.
the wrong like possibly or likely and stuff like that.
Yep.
Someone could point out that you could have used a more accurate term.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely. I remember Masahiro Sakurai. He talked about the debugging process and like how when games are released, you find so many more bugs because of the amount of people that are just playing the game, and
Yeah.
it's exactly the same thing, like you mentioned.
so yeah, so like when you publish an article, it's basically bug testing.
Yeah.
Oh, I wish I had some of
Yeah. Uh,
that. No day one patches on YouTube.
yeah. Well, like recently, I helped you out with the Smash videos, and I think you've been doing a really good job of getting your scripts better, and it's more tighter and everything.
Oh, thanks.
I definitely
Yeah.
see the improvement.
Well, basically just dedicated more time to actually I made I streamlined the process of like getting information and putting it down into a document.
Hmm.
So I make a research document and then an actual script document. So it gives me two chances to see and compare the information.
Hmm.
It just helps catch small mistakes, and then from there, I'll give it to somebody else to look at. Like Liam, for instance, I think about half the scripts that go up, he's a script editor as
Hmm.
well. So I'll send them to him, and he'll have a look at them and say, "Oh, there might be a small mistake here," or and he'll change that or make a note of it or something and send it back to me.
Yeah.
So it really is just about having more sets of eyes and having more passes on the information just to catch those mistakes.
Hmm. Yeah, with Source Gaming, like we have about I think 18 people working on the website, and not everyone checks every article, but with the amount of people that we have on Source Gaming, we're able to kind of better fact check our own stuff before we publish it. Because, like you said, like I found out when I was doing translations by myself, those translations weren't as good as when I was collaborating with other people.
Oh yeah, I'd imagine, especially with Japanese and how context based it is.
Hmm. Yeah,
Having a different perspective could really help you there.
yeah, and like sometimes, especially like you mentioned before, connotation of words, like trying to carry over that same connotation is very difficult because you don't want to put words in other people's mouth.
Oh yeah, so you don't want to say like Sakurai definitely said this when he actually said it is he considered it briefly or something.
Yeah, because I remember we translated a piece before all the DLC finished, and in it, some people said, "Oh, I guess there's going to be like a ton of new characters," and because Sakurai said, literally, he said like a number of characters will be added into the game, but he meant it as just like it's going to be a number, like it could be, it could be one,
Oh,
it could be like 10, and as soon as we published that translation, a lot of sites were saying like, "Oh, Smash is going to have like 10 new DLC characters," and so we immediately came out with an article the next day like, "No, Smash is probably not going to have a lot of characters. Don't expect a lot. Keep your expectations in check."
sorry, 1 second.
Hmm. Yeah, Cartboy is one of the people who diligently edits our articles. He also runs the Facebook page.
Yeah,
Nice.
Yep.
I haven't been on Facebook in years.
Yeah, you should check it out. Oh, so you're back?
yeah, I'm back.
Okay. So, yeah, contacts and everything like that matters so much.
Okay, which question were we on? I think I lost pace.
Um, I think we're on. Okay, so what's an episode that? Sorry. Why haven't you voiced any of the digital gaming episodes?
uh, uh, have you heard my voice?
Yeah, I'm hearing it right now. Sounds alright.
Well, there you go. So that's the problem. It's just okay. But no, when I started Did You Know Gaming, I didn't really have any kind of audio setup. I just had some like crappy $20 Logitech microphone that I use for Skype calls.
Hmm.
And at the time, I already knew a bunch of YouTubers and amateur voice actors and stuff.
Hmm.
And I was like, why don't I just ask them to voice it? Because they're gonna do a way better job than I could.
Yeah.
They've already got the experience. It's like, why make the product bad at the start when I could just ask for help and it'd be a lot better from the get-go?
Hmm.
But then, as things went on, I decided that I shouldn't voice the videos because I didn't want to make the channel about me. I wanted to keep it about the information. I didn't want to try and attach a personality to it.
Okay.
And
But
that's pretty much it.
I'll say that you're, at least right now, I think you're very capable of hosting one.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
definitely.
Well, I am technically an amateur voice actor because because my voice was used in a dating sim game.
Oh, really?
Nice.
What game?
Yeah. Uh, Asagao Academy, which is a dating sim game with just all the normal boots people in it.
Okay. Did you
So
did you date yourself in that game?
I did, yeah, I did. I did it live on Twitch while drunk, and then passed out in front of 1,000 people.
Nice.
Yeah, that was a night.
Do
Are
you want to?
there any mediums that you'd like to experiment with?
Sorry, what was that?
Are there any other like mediums that you'd like to
Um,
experiment with?
we have considered doing short videos for like just short, like 45, 60-second videos for social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, sort of thing.
Right.
So that's something we might do in the future because they're rolling out monetization for Twitter and Facebook,
Okay.
and we have a decent amount of followers on those platforms, so it might be worth doing.
Yeah, kind of like a now this style video.
Yeah, yeah. So like now this, but maybe um, more aimed towards people who watch the existing content. So like less infographic-y,
Hmm.
just more like the current content, but crunched down.
Okay. You could even like cut some footage from the content that you already have.
Yeah, definitely. I just have to be careful and make sure everything makes sense without the previous segue or context of like the past piece of trivia and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's one thing we're considering.
Nice. How often is the stream stuff happening? Like I've seen Daz does some live stream sort of stuff.
Oh yeah, I think those streams will just be from now on the second channel on Wednesdays, every Wednesday, I think.
Oh, nice.
Just playing either something that was recently covered on Did You Know Gaming Extra or Region Locked, or maybe just something completely random.
Hmm.
Sounds good.
Okay. Do you have any other questions before we open it up to the chat?
Mm, I think I'm good for now. Yeah.
Okay. So we had one question that was and remember you have every right to not answer these questions if you know because they weren't
Oh,
pre-approved.
I'll probably answer it.
Has there ever been a point in time where you felt like you wanted to stop doing Did You Know Gaming or turn it over to someone else that comes from King of Archers?
Uh, every day of my life
Yeah.
is sometimes it just like really weighs you down.
Hmm.
Just like it is constant work. Like I can maybe get like one or like maybe 1.5 days off without being able to work, and then everything starts to lag behind, and I have to start working overtime again. It is just constant, literally constant work.
Yeah. And that could be like a huge drain on your social life as well.
Yeah. Well, thankfully, a lot of my friends do YouTube, and I work with them and stuff, so that kind of helps keep it afloat.
Hmm. And
But yeah,
yeah, the amount of time is just too much sometimes.
yeah, definitely. I'd say that's the biggest downside to it all.
Yeah. And let's see. There's another question. This one's from Cartoon Gamer 8000. He says, "Why do you keep on getting Cartoon Gamer for voicing stuff?"
Uh, uh, because he has a nice voice. That's why.
Oh.
Don't read the comment sections. That's what I'd say.
Yeah, I think like reading the comment sections, like you can read it for a little bit, but then after some point you just gotta be like, that's enough.
Yeah, it's like it's usually like think you can read like about three comments, and then it's always the fourth one that just manages to piss you off, and then you're like, "That's it. I've no gotta go now."
Yeah.
You might be able to tolerate a little bit more if you didn't actually make the video,
Hmm.
but I think that's about it. For me, it's like I'll read three comments, and I'm like, I know I'm not gonna read anymore because I know the fourth one's just gonna ruin my day.
Recently, we had a comment that said that one of the other staff members was really annoying, and we checked out his YouTube channel, and it was full of live action Angry Birds, act like he was acting out like Angry Birds, and he had like
Oh,
36 hours of it.
that's beautiful.
Yeah, it was like, well, yeah, we have to listen to him.
Yeah, it's like the harshest critics are usually the people who make the worst stuff.
Okay. And King of Archers, he asks, if you had $1 for every time someone has asked you to do a voice in digital gaming, how rich would you be?
Far richer than I am now.
Yeah.
Remember for a while, back when, shortly after Asgard Academy came out, I just had my Tumblr asks was just every day, just like, please voice a Did You Know Gaming. I was just responding to all of them, just saying no.
Hmm. How about like other people asking to be on digital gaming?
Um, Probably get like a request for other people to go on, maybe once or twice a day.
Hmm.
A lot of them are usually like amateur voice actors, like just trying to like get their foot in the door. But I kind of like I have like a rule where I feel like I should only let someone voice a video if it will either directly, objectively benefit them.
Hmm.
So like if they have monetizable content on YouTube, I'll give them a chance, or like if someone has a smaller platform that I know I could help them
Hmm.
increase its size, something like that. Like, because if somebody's just like an amateur voice actor and they don't have any content on YouTube and they don't have a website and they don't have like a game plan or anything like that, or a way to maximize them being on the show,
Hmm.
then it's just kind of like a wasted spot.
Yeah. That's actually a good segue into another question. Like, how do you help smaller channels or people who are trying to get out?
Well, one way, just like how we mentioned, letting them
Hmm.
voice a video.
Yeah.
Um, Other ways used to be that I could like just like a video on YouTube and thousands of people would see it and go and subscribe to a channel.
Hmm.
'Cause back in I think about four years ago now, when you liked a video on YouTube, all of your subscribers saw, like literally all of your subscribers saw that you had liked the video.
Yeah.
Like it was in the feed, it said such and such has liked this video. So I could go and like a video, and even though back then I think Did You Know Gaming had something like 100,000 subscribers,
Hmm.
I could like a video, and me liking that video would give that video like 15,000 views
Yeah.
just
That,
from a 100,000 subscriber channel.
that still like carries over to Twitter though, right?
It's really nothing special. Um,
Not the
it's,
same
it's
effect.
no, it's literally like less than a thousandth the power it used to be. It's YouTube has basically just trying to take all the power away from the creators and just point the algorithm towards whatever's profitable, and that's what they've slowly been doing over the past 5 years.
It's a shame.
Yeah. So now the only way you can really help people is by plugging them on social media or featuring them in a video somehow. So like linking to something they've made
Hmm.
in the end slate or the description, or like pinning one of their comments or something like that.
Yeah, I think when you link to our video debunking that the fake link on one of the Digital Gaming videos, it immediately shot up by like I think like 50,000 views.
Yeah, that actually a lot of those views will have been from Did You Know Gaming, but there's
Mhm.
something weird about how YouTube promotes
Yep.
channels and content on channels.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, I noticed that.
the overall watch time of
Hmm.
your channel determines how much exposure YouTube gives you on the homepage and the sidebar. And from what it hasn't been confirmed, but from what like me and a few other people have like uh, found from like doing tests is that certain channels will be in like watch time brackets. So like you'll have a 101 under 1,000 minutes bracket, then a 1,000 to 5,000 watch minutes bracket, then a 10,000 to 50,000 watch minutes bracket, and so on. And when you're in each one of those brackets, YouTube will give you X amount of impressions in the sidebar or homepage, and it keeps going up depending on how much watch time you have.
Hmm.
So when Did You Know Gaming plugged the Source Gaming video, what that did was bring you up into a new watch time bracket.
Yes.
So it started promoting all your other videos, like the original Smash Bros. CSS, was
Hmm.
it CSS video? Um, that video probably had a good click through rate, so YouTube started promoting that, and
Hmm.
that's why that video took off as well.
Yeah, that's something I noticed from looking at the analytics.
Yeah,
Yeah, because that video shot up to I think
yeah,
100,000 plus right after Digital Gaming linked to us, and
yeah,
when I was looking through the analytics, it was saying that YouTube was recommending us more.
yeah. So like, even though no Did You Know Gaming video or anything like that links to that Smash Bros. CSS video,
Hmm.
the just the act of Did You Know Gaming linking to the leak video
Hmm.
made that video get promoted way more because the overall channel watch time jumped up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very strange way to promote videos, but I guess it works for YouTube.
Hmm. So let's see. Next question from the chat is: do you have any advice for starting people who are starting?
Um, I would say, um, unfortunately, YouTube is more about what is marketable rather than what is good.
Hmm.
So if for you to take off, you kind of either need to stumble upon a good idea or you need to really take a good look of what works on YouTube and figure out a game plan. Because just because your content is good doesn't mean it's going to take off. There's a lot of small channels that make really good content, like lots of in-depth content, and they don't go anywhere. They'll like stagnate at like 1 or 2, 3,000 subscribers, and then that's it. And
Hmm.
it's because their content isn't marketable.
Yeah.
So I would say, biggest thing, look into what's marketable on YouTube and what works, and then see if anything you want to do can be like tweaked and fit into that mold.
Okay. And then like I would add on to that is just like you have to keep trying and keep creating content and putting yourself out there. Because for a lot of people, like I remember when I first started blogging and stuff like that, I didn't get anywhere until I actually started publishing stuff.
Oh, sorry, I cut out there.
I didn't. You have to put yourself out there, and try and like work with other people and connect with other
Oh yeah,
people as well.
definitely, definitely. Um, so the old-fashioned way of getting your foot in the door,
Hmm.
um, just I guess putting a lot of effort into your content, being nice, sending it to people, talking to people, like you'll get a certain amount of success from that as well.
Yeah.
But if I was coming from a purely what works on YouTube perspective, I'd say it's about marketing rather than content,
Hmm.
which is why you see a lot of garbage channels with like 5 million subscribers or whatever. It's just like them flying drones into a pool of Coca-Cola or whatever.
Just because people want to watch that.
Just yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay. And then I think that's it for the questions from the chat.
Is there any particular spot that you source suggestions from, like, viewers for future content? YouTube comments, Twitter.
Where people can suggest future episodes.
Yeah.
I'd say the best way to do that is to either email me, didyouknowgaming@gmail.com, or tweet me directly _ShaneGill_ on Twitter. Because the main Did You Know Gaming accounts on Facebook and Twitter don't really read the messages on those. Those are just like media accounts.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah.
There's a question from Fairy Dust. Do you have any art advice?
Art advice. I'd say practice as much as you can and don't be afraid to start over from scratch. I think a lot of people get caught up in not wanting to feel like what they've done is a waste and start again. But the only way you can improve is by redoing things. So for art advice, I'd say don't be afraid to scrap what you're working on and start anew. That's well, as soon as I accepted that, my art started to get a lot better.
Okay.
Oh, that's great advice. I used to draw a lot when I was in high school.
Oh, you got it? Got anything interesting to show us?
Not at all. Yeah. Practice is huge, though.
Yeah.
That's the only way you get better. That's like for anything.
Mm-hmm. This is from Let Your Heart Fly 85. Is there anything in the future that you're excited for regarding Did You Know Gaming?
I'm not sure when I'm gonna have the time to do it, but I am planning on doing a new show called Debunked, where we look. It's kind of like if anyone ever watched game trailers content, it's kind of like pop fiction.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I missed that show. They
Yeah.
stopped doing it.
So it'll be kind of like that. And it'll have a high budget and a different kind of presentation to what the channel's used to.
Okay.
That sounds good.
And we got another question from Glee Och. Did you really get into a game or franchise after putting together a Did You Know Gaming video that you didn't really care about or didn't have on your radar before? So
That's a great question. That's happened a couple of times actually, and I think the first time was Resident Evil.
Mhm.
I didn't really care for Resident Evil at all until I did a Did You Know Gaming video on it, because I had to like specifically go out and like read the lore and like developer interviews and stuff, and watch a few playthroughs of the game just so I was familiar with the characters. And I was like, wow, this is actually a really cool series. And that kind of got me invested in it more than I was before.
yeah, the Resident Evil franchise has like such a interesting lore. Like it's such a
Definitely.
huge franchise.
Just very strange origins as well. Just like,
Mm-hmm.
a video just went up about it on Did You Know Gaming earlier today. It was Resident Evil was like a spiritual successor to a Famicom game called Sweet Home. And Sweet Home was like a survival horror RPG game, but it was also a movie tie-in game with a film called Sweet Home that was about people surviving in a mansion.
Mm-hmm.
And Resident Evil was basically just a remake of that without the RPG elements.
Yeah.
Would I don't know, just seems pretty unusual. Like I'd bet that a lot of people who have played Resident Evil were completely unaware of that.
Yeah. Also, the English name Resident Evil, as opposed to the Japanese name Biohazard,
Oh yeah.
it's kind of interesting. I don't know the full story behind that, but is it just because the first game takes place in a house? They're like, oh, this is Resident Evil.
I guess so. I don't think they've.
I don't like. Seems like they didn't plan like it would be a franchise or anything like that.
Yeah. I think that must have been like a Capcom USA decision to rename it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see anything wrong with Biohazard, the name.
Yeah.
But I haven't looked into that. I don't think it's been in a digital gaming episode either.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, I don't think we have any other questions. Oh, it's a copyright because there's a Genesis game titled Biohazard Battle. This comes from
that explain it.
Carvi Abadas. So thank you.
Maybe it was a digital gaming video and I just forgot. There's about 300 of them now, so there's kind of hard to keep track of.
Mm-hmm. Oh, the game was known as Crying in Japan. The Biohazard Battle.
Oh,
Huh. Interesting. Thank you.
that's pretty cool.
So, yeah, I think this basically wraps up our interview. So where can people find you?
If you type in video game facts on Google, I will be the first result, so you can find me there. Or if you want to find me personally, you can just look up Shane Gill on Twitter, and hopefully I'll be the first result, even though someone else called Shane Gill stole my original URL.
Oh, yeah, they did.
Yeah. There's another Shane Gill on the internet that I constantly have to fight to get domain names for.
Mm-hmm.
Just like whenever a new social media platform comes out, we both dive on it and try and get Shane Gill. And if I lose, I have to go _ Shane Gill _.
Oh, so he's also computer savvy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty lucky because like my actual name, I don't only share it with my uncle, and my uncle is he lives on a farm in the middle of nowhere, so I can usually.
So if somebody doxes you, you know it's uncle.
Yeah. Do you believe in the Shane Gill cloning project? This is asked by Queen Quico.
I think that would be honestly a net loss for the world. So no.
Oh, I'm sorry. Cravy Badas. Hopefully I said it right this time. I'm really bad at pronouncing things. That's why I'm really lucky to study Japanese, because everything is pretty phonetic.
Oh yeah, I noticed that. Like they just use like all the lowercase English pronunciations for stuff, right?
Basically, you have like 5 sounds, the 5 vowel sounds, like a, I, U, E, O, and then you combine it with consonants. So kaki, ku, ke, ko, sa, shi, su, se, so. And then it can get a little tricky, like when you do double consonants, or the R's in Japanese are actually not like English R's, they're like in between the L's and R's.
Yeah.
But once you understand those like basic rules, then it's not too difficult.
Yeah, I remember because for Final Fight, one of the characters is called Guy, like Guy, but in the code for the game, it was Gay, because that's how they say the A, like Guy.
Yeah.
It's like that.
Yeah.
The Team America were like, no, guys, gotta change that word.
Yeah, I data mine in the Smash games, like I remember there's a lot of misspellings of the character names. Just because they're written as how they would pronounce them in Japanese.
Oh yeah.
And you must run into that quite often, right?
All the time. Lots of L and R swaps.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I think
like
Liam
weird
posted a picture of that earlier with was it Frank West as Frank West?
Yeah, Flank West.
Yeah. I think I mispronounced someone else's username. I apologize. So so yeah, that was
I think that's everything, guys.
yeah.
And I've taken up 15 minutes more of your time than I planned.
I think no. I
That's
think
fine.
we're 15 minutes ahead of schedule.
Are we?
I think so. Yeah, I have the next event starting at 1:30.
Oh, well, if anyone wants to ask more inane questions for 15 minutes, I'm happy to stick around and answer them.
Yeah, we could just shoot the shit for another 15 minutes as well.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah.
So, what's your guys' video making process?
Well,
The tables have turned now.
oh, now this is a interview. Um, we don't really have one because I suck at making videos. I'm still learning.
Oh, is that why the videos are just one still image and then?
Yes. I'm still learning. No, if I could do it over again, I might probably start off with learning how to do videos because you need to know so much more. Like I've just been learning a lot about audio editing and
Yeah.
making that tighter because a lot of people were complaining that our audio quality wasn't up to par.
It's unfortunately it's a lot of messing around before the microphone's even turned on, just
Mhm.
making sure the environment's good.
Yeah. Like I don't know if you can hear it, but I have my AC on right now, so if I was actually
I'm there as well. Mine's on in
yeah
the background.
yeah
It's fixing post.
yeah, but
Uh,
like actually like research and everything like that. Most of the videos that we've turned into um, videos, most of the articles that we've turned into videos, like we've already had them written, so it's just recording them and making sure that it flows naturally, because
yeah.
the way that you write something and the way that you say something is just very different, as it
Oh yeah,
should.
definitely. One thing that I noticed that really like smoothed out
Mhm.
scripts ready to be recorded and voiced was getting rid of I think they call them, it's something like informative nouns, informative pronouns. It's like a lot of that's and theys and there's in front of words, like
Mhm.
the house that they went to. You could just say the house they went to,
Oh, okay.
and it smooths it out a lot more. That's one thing that I found, just removing all the informative pronouns.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
We stick to on cutting room floor. We stick to not including any personal pronouns.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's
So no he, him, they, them.
Yeah,
with the cutting room floor, it must be a little bit difficult to kind of have everything adhere to the same quality because anyone can contribute to the articles. Since it's a
anyone
wiki.
can edit anything at any time. It gets a bit wild.
So do you for cutting room floor, do you have people who solely just go around to make sure there's consistency there rather than adding content?
Not necessarily. In our IRC room, we have live reporting, live edit reporting. So like anyone can see
Okay.
like when somebody's done something. So
So
we do
you-
have users that like constantly clean up stuff, but there's nobody that's like specifically like we've assigned them. It's just anybody does what they
Mhm.
want to do.
and they can let you know if it's clean up or not based on the the like like Wikimedia has like a little box at the end, doesn't it, that you can like write in the reason
Yeah.
for.
Yeah, edit summaries and stuff.
Yeah, like this article needs to be cleaned up, or this article needs more citations for its facts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's tagging, that sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Images that need replacing, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, with with the cutting room floor, like I over the past year, like it's been really pushing like sourcing everything as well.
Yeah, that's been really handy for us, honestly, because it's just like we don't know who discovered this thing, and then it'll say like in a little bit in the little bottom corner, and then we can add that to the video. Very
Yeah.
convenient.
Um, a lot of the people do their own research, but at the same time, without like a source or saying,
Hmm.
we just recently, like I say recently, it's been like a year or something. We added that
Oh, yeah, the original research.
TCRF source. Um, when people add that, it like signifies, okay, this is something that I've researched on my own.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it can be kind of tricky because multiple people can find the same thing around the same time.
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, I've noticed that as well. I think a while ago, I was talking to someone, and I wasn't sure what the source was because it was on Cutting Room Floor, but it was also on mushroomkingdom.net, and they both went up around the same date and used different wording. And then I talked to the guy who put it up, I think, and it just turned out that both people had found it around the same time and just put it up on the website,
Hmm.
which is just like a strange coincidence. It was like something from Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door.
Yeah, that could totally happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Supper Mario Broth. They recently updated their approach to sourcing as well, which is really great to see.
Yeah, I was really happy about that.
Yeah,
I was I was getting pretty sassy about that.
yeah. I tagged the VG resource people in the Discord. It's like, hey, you guys should know about this.
Yeah, that was it was tough to figure out where their stuff had come from because a lot of the time Super Mario Broth was like editing things or
Hmm.
changing it around, so you couldn't do like a one-to-one reverse image search. But it turns out they took a couple of different things from VG Resource. Not
Oh, were they using like sprites and stuff?
yeah, sprite rips, but they also do their own stuff like taking screenshots in Dolphin and stuff. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it's difficult, but they're I think they're doing really well now. I started following them again.
yeah,
That passive
Yeah,
follow.
yeah, I make a difference. I'll retweet their stuff. So we got one more question from Yoshi Nam. He says, "What advice would you give to someone who may not have a good concept for a YouTube series, but is too afraid of failure to finish a project?"
Sorry, what? Oh, okay. What advice would you give to someone who may or may not have a good concept for a YouTube series, but is too afraid of failure to finish projects?
Uh,
Uh,
just do it.
what one thing that a lot of people have is they don't put stuff online because they want their creation to be the best version of itself before anyone sees it. But that's a paradox because that can't happen. For something to be the best version of itself, it needs to be criticized, and you need to um, have different perspectives on it and grow and change. And so the first thing you put up, it's gonna have to suck. That's just how it is, and it's not nice, and it's I wish it was different, but that's just how it is. The first thing you put up's gonna suck. You're probably gonna suck at making whatever it is you put up, but you're gonna get better at it over time because that's just how things go. So I'd say suck it up. Don't worry about it too much. Just put it out there, and in a couple videos from now, or a couple projects from now, or whatever, you'll be good at what you're doing. So don't worry about it.
don't take criticisms personally.
Uh, Try that as well.
Yeah.
Sometimes that advice is hard to take, but
Yeah,
I,
I'd say just suck it up.
I think some criticism is good, but don't let it ruin your day.
yeah, like don't take it to heart and give up because somebody said something mean or whatever.
Hmm.
Yeah. So bottom line, if you want to get better, you got to put your stuff out there. Kind of like a little bit of a paradox, but there you go. If you want the best version of whatever you're making, you've got to put out the crappy version.
Yeah, I remember I was like that before, and I know a couple of writers who were just like, I don't want people to like steal my content, or I don't want like, I'm making something amazing, and if only people would understand the genius behind it, and it's like it's nothing if you don't publish it.
Yeah.
Like you can have like the best work ever, but if no one sees it, then no one will know about it.
And if you don't put out that first one, you'll never get good either.
Yeah, there's always room for improvement.
Like I'm pretty sure, like stuff that's like loved by many people, like Game of Thrones, like the Story of Ice and Fire series. That wasn't George Martin's first book series. The guy's been writing for like 40 years before he even wrote the first book. You have to get good first.
Okay, we have about like 5 more minutes. If there's any other questions, your last chance.
Yeah, this is your last chance ever to ask me a question.
Yeah, don't bother him anymore.
I'm deleting the Twitter account after this.
Definitely don't.
Deleting all social media accounts. So you got 5 minutes, 4 minutes now. So there you go. Clock is ticking.
Well, either way, we appreciate having you on.
Oh, no problem. It's been good.
Yeah, and I'm glad that we started working together since the Smash videos, basically.
It's been nice, just like being able to send those to someone who actually knows what they're talking about. Just
Yeah.
me staring at a sheet of paper, just being like, does this make sense? Am I insane? Am I a crazy person? Like, and just send it to someone, and they're like, yeah, that makes sense. Don't worry about it, but you should change this. I'm like, thank God.
Yeah. Yeah, Smash is a very interesting series. Like, I love the development history. It's
Yeah, there's just so many points of view and so many characters and so many universes it pulls from. It's just like how like they're talking about stuff that I have no context for.
yeah. Yeah, with
Like,
go ahead.
you got more questions there?
Oh, okay. What's your go-to Mario Kart 8 character?
Link.
Okay.
Anyone heavy, really, but I go for Link. If Link's not there, I go Waluigi because it's Waluigi.
Okay. Do you ever intend on traveling to places like Australia, New Zealand for conventions if you're invited?
Possibly, but I also just experienced 2 back-to-back 11-hour plane rides to Tokyo, and I never want to do that ever again. So maybe not.
Yeah, it's a really long flight.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's why I don't usually go back to the States that often. Because it's just really awful to fly the whole day, basically.
I know. And they try to make the airlines nice, but it's like, guys, there's only so much you can do.
Yeah. Did you at least get like a tablet in your seat?
They had screens on the back of the seats, and it had like built-in games like Tetris and
Yep.
Sudoku and stuff.
Did you? What were your thoughts about Japan? Is this your first time?
It was my first time. It was very strange.
Yeah.
We kept describing it as a first world, third world country. Because
Yeah.
it's like it's developed in a lot of sense in one sense, but then you'll turn a corner and there's just like some guy, there's just like some toilet with holes in the ground and a guy taking a poop, and it's like, oh, did I just like go back 500 years? Like, what's happening?
Yeah, that's just they use those because it's sanitized. It's cleaner.
Well, you might say that. I call it shitting in a hole.
Yeah. Well, I just got back from the Philippines and I could not flush the toilet paper.
Yeah, they have that in India as well. You
Yeah.
can't put toilet paper. You can't flush it because the system's not strong enough.
Yeah. So like coming back to Japan, it's like, oh, this is amazing.
They have their toilet game is top top notch. I don't know how I lived using a toilet that didn't have a control panel on it. Frankly.
Yeah, that doesn't heat up.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
it's got. I sat on one that had 5 buttons that squirt your ass with water 5 different ways. Like what?
Yeah, you can choose the pressure.
Yeah, choose the pressure and the angle.
Yep. Just get it right.
Okay, let me just blast through these questions and I can get out of your hair. Did you ever
Okay.
play Boogerman? I did play Boogerman, I think, for like an hour once when I first found out what emulators were. Go-to Smash Bros. Character in the Smash 4 is Mario. Best part of my career. Ask me again in 5 years. Okay, there we go.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining us for this
No
live
problem,
stream.
guys.
It's been a pleasure to have you on.
Oh, thank you. It's been a pleasure to be on.
Okay, and so we'll catch you. You guys can of course follow Did You Know Gaming on YouTube and Twitter to stay up to date with our content.
And if you want to follow me personally, it's just _Shane Gill _.
Okay, and have a good night. It's like like 10 or 11 over there.
It is 12:31 a.m.
Oh, jeez.
Same here.
All right. Well, I think both of you guys are leaving. I think up next is Bryhard.